Greetings of the day, children, and everyone invited here for the virtual session of science. Children, I hope you all are doing very well. And a gentle reminder about your notebook. So, let's get started for the day. What are we having? As you all know, we have started with the chapter soil in the previous session, and I hope you will have taken down the points discussed in the previous session. Let us see what are we having in this session. We are going to see layers of the soil in detail. As you have done the diagram, hopefully in the previous session, layers of the soil, those means you have done A horizon, B horizon, C horizon and bedrock. You have seen that is a diagram of the soil profile. So here in this session we are going to have a detailed study of each and every layer of the soil. So let us see horizon A. This layer is also called the topsoil because it is present on the top of the soil. It is visible to us. It contains large amount of humus and minerals which makes it dark in color. So it contains lots of organic matter, all dead and decaying matter lying on top of the soil, and that's why the color is always dark, and the soil is rich in nutrients because of the presence of humus. Humus, they are the organic matter and they add nutrients to the soil. They make the soil fertile actually. The topsoil has soft texture and can retain water easily. So that is why plants grow in the topsoil region. So because of this characteristic of the topsoil, it has a soft texture and can retain water easily. It gives a scope for the plants. Plants' roots grow in the topsoil region. The topsoil is a home to many living organisms such as many living organisms as well like insects, worms, beetles, rodents and moles. So these are some of the organisms which can thrive and which can live in the topsoil. So this is the horizon A and that is also called as topsoil. Please make a note of all this and then we'll go for horizon B or the middle layer. So it is the next layer of the soil which does not contain much humus. The top soil contains humus, but it's the next layer and it does not contain much humus. The minerals are found in large quantities in this layer. So where the top soil, that is horizon A, consists of organic matter, which is rich in nutrients, this contains large amount of minerals. And this layer has a hard texture, whereas top soil or the A horizon have a soft texture. Texture you can feel by touching. As you touch fabric and you come to know the texture, or any surface you touch, you know the texture is rough or smooth or soft. So similarly, soil also has a particular texture. So here it has a hard texture, light in color and is more compact than the topsoil. More compact in the sense it is not as porous. It will not sip that much of water as done by the topsoil. Horizon C or the third layer now. The third layer of the soil consists of small rocks with cracks in them. So it consists of small rocks and they have some cracks and these rocks are partly withered. As I told you, you have seen in the diagram, you have some rocks in this horizon C, that is the third layer. Please maintain all these important points in your notebook, children. Bedrock, that is the last layer which we have seen in the diagram. The last layer of the soil is called the bedrock. It contains large pieces of rocks that are not withered or exposed to any winds or water because they are deep down the earth. Bedrock cannot be dug with the help of spade. It is very hard in texture. So when you are digging it is not easy to go down so deep. Then if you manage, then again breaking that bedrock is extremely difficult because of the hardness. I hope all these layers of the soil profile is clear with you all. This is a detailed study of all the layers. How soil is formed, let us see how they are being formed. Since we are learning about the soil and we have learned the importance of the soil, we will see how natural process help in the formation of the soil. We know that the soil is formed from weathering of the parent rock. That means breaking of the parent rock into fine particles, and the texture of the soil depends upon the parent rock only. As I told you, from wherever the parent rock is breaking into fine particles, that type of soil you will get. This process takes time, maybe 100 years, and then the fine soil is formed. So very important soil is, and you can see by through natural process the soil takes such a long period of time, and we are just polluting it. So we need to understand the importance of the soil. In the first stage of the soil formation, the soil is generally non-porous in nature. Then it slowly turns into soil having air and water in the pores. So this is how soil formation happens, because initially when the rock breaks, it will not be into very fine pieces, and it will be non-porous, but gradually it will turn into a soil and which will can hold air and water. And we can define soil as a mixture of rock particles and humus. Based on the size of the particles and the texture of the soil, it can be divided into various types. So this is how soil is formed, and it has different types. It depends upon the criteria of different types of soil is the size of the particle, the texture of the particles of the soil is extremely important to decide a particular type of soil. So let us see. Here you have first of all how the formation of the soil takes place, and we will see different types of soil in the next slide. Here you will see in first image from the extreme left hand side, you will see bedrocks begins to disintegrate. This is a natural process. Then organic matter facilitates further disintegration. Organic matter get added naturally, and it helps in further breaking down of the bedrock. Then water percolates, horizons form. As water percolates, then there will be different layers form, and different size of the particle will get differentiated. Then deeper profile, more humus, thicker horizon. So more humus added, thicker horizon you will get, and this is how A, B, C horizons and a bedrock is created through natural process. And you can see plant growth on the soil as well. Just have a look at this. Then you will see types of soil as was mentioned. Let us see, depending upon the texture, the color and the particle size. Here you have clay soil, loam, then you have sand and silt. Here you can easily see, children, the color difference. Then you can see you can easily make out over here the size of the particles, granulated, bigger size particle or very fine particles. That will decide the characteristic of the soil. That will decide how the soil profile is. Dark color soil will indicate more amount of humus, that means organic matter, and you can get beautiful color soil as well. Just have a look at this. So now let us see in detail about different types of soil. First of all, we will see sandy soil. What is sandy soil? Sandy soil has a big particle that have a large spaces between them. So sandy soil, when you have a big particle, definitely the space between the particles will be more. The spaces between these particles are filled with air. Hence sandy soils are more well aerated soils. And because of large spaces, water can easily penetrate through the particles of sand, and sandy soil, however, cannot hold water. Water will just pass through because the particle size are bigger, and therefore the size of the pores will be bigger. That's why it cannot hold water. Water will just pass through. Hence sandy soils are light aerated and dry in nature. So things doesn't remain over there, and it can easily pass through. That's why it dry in nature. Sandy soils lack much nutrients, hence do not support the diverse growth of plants because of lack of nutrients in sandy soil. I hope you are writing all these points, children. Then we will see what is clay soil. Clay soil consists of fine particles which have less space between them. So when you have very fine particles, that means you can imagine fine particles having spaces in between them when they are closer. So the spaces between them will be very less. Since there is not much space between the particles, clay soils are not well aerated like sandy soils. The tiny gaps between the particles although allow absorption of water in the clay soils easily. So there are some tiny gaps between the particles, as you all know, always will be there, because soil is always porous, and it depends upon the type of the soil. The porosity will be different, and it will allow the absorption of water. So clay soil will allow absorption of water, and they are able to hold water because their particle size are very small, so they will not allow water to just pass through it. It can have a ability to hold water, and they are suitable for the growth of different kinds of plants. That's why this type of clay soil are used for the growth of different kinds of plants, children. Then loamy soil. Loamy soil contains similar amount of large and small particles in them. They are combination of sandy, clayey and silty soil. So loamy soil is actually the combination of all these three soil, and they also contain some amount of humus, that means organic matter, dead and decay matter, and they can hold water in appropriate amounts and therefore support the growth of plants. So they can easily hold water to an appropriate amount, and that's why, and they can also support growth. They are also called agricultural soil. They are mostly used in agriculture, therefore you call as agricultural soil because of their fertility and appropriate texture. So texture also plays a very important role, whether that particular soil can be used for the crops and all. And loamy soils have a good scope, and that's why they are called as agricultural soil. They contain good amounts of calcium and have high pH value. So they have rich in mineral like calcium, and having a high pH value, that means they are more on a basic side. The nature is basic, not very acidic soil. I hope this concept is clear. Now let us see what is silt soil. Another type of soil, you see the silt soils are smaller than that of sandy soils but larger than clay soil. So the particle size lies between the sandy soils and clay soils. Here the silt particles are smaller than that of sandy but larger than clay soils. Silt soil can hold water to some extent because of its fine quality. So fine quality helps the soil to hold water because of the fine or very little space between the particles. They are generally found near the water bodies like river, lakes and river, ponds and lakes, and they are rich in nutrients. They are highly fertile and hence are suitable for agriculture. So silt is another soil which is very good for agriculture because it contains lots of minerals, rich nutrients and high fertility. They are highly fertile. They help in the growth of plants. They are often mixed with other soil to improve the fertility of the soil. Since the silt soil, they themselves have a good amount of fertility, they are being used to make the other soil fertile. I hope this was interesting to you all, children. And here we come to an end of the session. And please do write all the points which are mentioned, extremely important for you to maintain notebook, children, as you all know. Thank you, children, and have a wonderful day.